Beneath the City Lights. Chapter 1, A New Beginning. The city of Chicago was bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun, the towering skyscrapers casting long shadows over the streets below. Emma Blake, a 29-year-old graphic designer, stood at the window of her high-rise apartment, watching the city come to life as dusk fell. Her short, auburn hair framed her face, and her green eyes reflected a mixture of exhaustion and anticipation. Emma had recently moved to Chicago from her small hometown in Indiana, seeking a fresh start after a long-term relationship ended in heartbreak. The move had been necessary, both for her career and for her soul. She needed to escape the memories that haunted her, but the loneliness of the big city was harder to shake than she had expected. That evening, as she sipped a cup of tea and stared at the bustling streets below, she decided to explore the city. It was time to break free from her self-imposed solitude and rediscover life in this vibrant place. She grabbed her jacket, stepped out of her apartment, and let the cool breeze of the evening greet her. The streets were alive with people heading to dinner, meeting friends, or simply wandering like her. Emma felt a sense of anonymity among the crowd, which was both comforting and freeing. As she wandered through a small park near the river, she noticed a man sitting on a bench, engrossed in a sketchbook. He looked completely at ease, his dark hair slightly disheveled, wearing a leather jacket that made him stand out among the more businesslike crowd. There was something about him, perhaps the way he focused so intently on his drawing, that caught Emma's attention. Without realizing it, she slowed her pace, watching him. As if sensing her gaze, the man looked up and met her eyes. A small, warm smile tugged at his lips. "Care to join me?" he asked, his voice smooth but casual. Surprised by the invitation, Emma hesitated for a moment before smiling back. "Why not?" Chapter 2, A Chance Connection. Time and setting description. The night air was crisp as Emma sat down beside the stranger. The lights from nearby buildings reflected off the river, casting a soft glow around them. She noticed the man's sketch, an intricate depiction of the park's landscape, with detailed shading that brought the scene to life. "I'm Liam," he said, closing his sketchbook and turning his full attention to her. "Emma," she replied, still taking in the details of his drawing. "You're really talented." "Thanks. It's a hobby," Liam said with a shrug. "I find peace in it." Emma nodded. "I get that. It must be nice to create something beautiful from the chaos around us." Liam chuckled softly. "Exactly. So, what brings you out here tonight, Emma?" She hesitated for a moment, then decided to be honest. "I needed a break. I just moved to the city a few months ago, and it's been overwhelming. I thought maybe a walk would help clear my mind." Liam looked at her thoughtfully. "New to the city, huh? Chicago can be a lot at first, but it grows on you." They continued talking, the conversation flowing effortlessly between them. Emma found herself opening up in a way she hadn't with anyone in a long time. Liam was easy to talk to, he listened without judgment, and his laid-back nature put her at ease. He told her about his work as an architect and how he sketched in his free time to balance the rigidity of his job with creativity. As the night wore on, Emma realized she had been laughing more than she had in months. There was something about Liam that made her feel alive again, like the weight of her past heartbreak had begun to lift. "I should probably head back," Emma said eventually, glancing at her phone. "It's getting late." Liam smiled. "Let me walk you home. This city isn't always as friendly as it seems at night." Emma hesitated but then nodded. "All right." They walked side by side through the dimly lit streets, and when they reached her apartment building, Liam paused. "It was really nice meeting you, Emma," he said, his voice sincere. "Maybe we could do this again sometime?" Emma smiled. "I'd like that." Chapter 3, A Blossoming Friendship. Time and setting description. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Liam began seeing more of each other. They met for coffee, explored new parts of the city, and spent quiet evenings sketching or simply talking. Their connection grew naturally, without the pressure of expectations or the weight of the past. Emma felt herself opening up to Liam more than she had with anyone since her last relationship. He was kind, funny, and thoughtful, qualities that she hadn't realized she had been missing. His presence in her life was like a breath of fresh air, and for the first time in a long time, she felt genuinely happy. One evening, as they sat on a rooftop bar overlooking the city, Liam turned to her and said, "You know, when I first met you in the park, I had a feeling you were searching for something. I didn't know what, but now I think I get it." Emma looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" "You were searching for a fresh start, weren't you? A way to move past whatever it was that brought you here." Emma sighed, nodding. "Yeah. I went through a really tough breakup, and I guess I thought moving to a new city would help me leave it all behind. But it's harder than I expected." Liam reached out and gently took her hand. "You don't have to go through it alone, you know." His words touched her deeply. Emma realized that she had been so focused on rebuilding her life on her own terms that she hadn't allowed anyone else to help. But with Liam, things felt different. She didn't feel like she was losing herself by letting him in. Instead, it felt like she was finding parts of herself she had forgotten. Chapter 4: Unexpected Emotions. As autumn deepened, Emma and Liam spent more time together, their friendship growing stronger with each passing day. But as the days grew shorter and the nights colder, Emma began to notice a change in the way she felt about him. It wasn't just friendship anymore, there was something more. Her heart skipped a beat whenever Liam smiled at her, and she found herself thinking about him constantly. One night, after a late dinner, they walked along the river, the city lights shimmering on the water. Liam stopped and looked at her, his expression more serious than usual. "Emma," he said quietly, "there's something I need to tell you." Her heart raced. She had been waiting for this moment, unsure of what to expect. "I know we've become close, and I value our friendship more than anything," Liam continued. "But I think I'm falling for you." Emma felt a rush of emotions, joy, fear, excitement, and uncertainty all at once. She had been falling for him too, but the fear of getting hurt again had kept her from admitting it, even to herself. "Liam," she began, but he gently interrupted her. "I don't want to rush you," he said. "I just wanted to be honest. You mean a lot to me, Emma. More than I expected." Emma smiled, her heart full. "You mean a lot to me too, Liam." They stood in silence for a moment, the world around them fading into the background as they looked at each other. Emma felt the weight of her past lifting, replaced by the warmth of something new and hopeful. Chapter 5: The Leap. Time and setting description. As winter approached, Emma and Liam's relationship shifted. What had started as a friendship blossomed into something deeper, and Emma found herself falling more and more in love with him. They spent cozy evenings in front of the fireplace, shared quiet moments in the city's hidden corners, and supported each other through the challenges of their busy lives. But despite the growing closeness, Emma couldn't shake the fear that had been lurking in the back of her mind. Her last relationship had ended so painfully, and she was terrified of getting hurt again. She hadn't opened up to Liam about the full extent of her past heartbreak, and it weighed on her. One night, as they sat together in her apartment, watching the snow fall outside, Liam gently took her hand. "Emma, I can see that something's bothering you. You don't have to keep it all inside." Emma looked at him, her heart aching with the weight of what she hadn't said. She knew that if she wanted their relationship to truly work, she had to let go of her fear and trust him. "I've been holding back," she admitted. "I've been afraid of falling for you, because the last time I let someone in, it ended badly. I thought moving to Chicago would help me move on, but it's been harder than I expected." Liam squeezed her hand, his gaze steady. "I'm not him, Emma. I'll never hurt you like that." She smiled softly, tears welling in her eyes. "I know. It's just hard to let go of the fear." "You don't have to do it all at once," Liam said gently. "We'll take it slow. But I'm here for you, no matter what." Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. For the first time, she realized that she didn't have to be strong on her own, she had someone who cared for her, someone who was willing to be patient. Chapter 6, A New Beginning. Time and setting description. Winter had fully arrived, and the city was covered in a blanket of snow. Emma and Liam spent their days together, building their relationship one step at a time. They took long walks through snow-covered parks, drank hot chocolate in their favorite cafes, and shared quiet, intimate moments that deepened their bond. One evening, as they stood on a bridge overlooking the frozen river, Liam wrapped his arms around Emma from behind. "You know," he said softly, "I've never felt this way about anyone before." Emma leaned into him, feeling the warmth of his embrace. "Neither have I." They stood there in silence for a moment, watching the snowflakes fall around them. Emma felt a sense of peace and happiness she hadn't experienced in years. She knew that their journey was just beginning, but she was no longer afraid. As they turned to leave, Liam took her hand and looked at her with a smile. "Here's to new beginnings," he said. Emma smiled back, her heart full. "To new beginnings."